Good morning and welcome to this weekly markets update from MRC Markets. Today's the 10th of June 2014. What we'll do today is go through some technical analysis on Euro, Dollar, Cable, Dollar Yen, Dollar Swiss, Aussie and Gold. Just going to review what's been going on in the markets over the past sort of week and give some sort of outlook for the week ahead. I'm not making any trade calls recommendations in this video. You trade at your own risk. If you could please read our full disclaimer, which is on our website at www.mrcmarkets.com, that'll be appreciated. Okay, let's have a brief look at the Forex calendar just to see what's coming out this week. So we're doing this video on a Tuesday. There was only one sort of high impact piece of sort of news yesterday, and that was RBA Governor Stevens speaking. Today we've had the NAB business conference overnight as well from Australia. Chinese CPI as well came a little bit better than expected. And the only sort of high impact data for the rest of the day is the UK manufacturing production numbers. So that's month on month. That comes out at 9:30 GMT. Tomorrow we have more overnight Aussie. We have more UK data at 9:30, so got the unemployment rate and claimant count change, and then more overnight data from New Zealand. Thursday, you then got more overnight data from Australia, and then out of the US, the first sort of headline US data on Thursday, the retail sales, and you got the core retail sales and weekly jobless claims. 4:15, you got Canada Bank of Canada Governor Plus speaking. And then at 11 PM, UK Bank of England Governor Carney speaking. And then Friday, more overnight Japanese data, Chinese. And then 1:30, the second bit of US data from the week is US PPI. You got Canadian manufacturing sales, and to round off the week, US preliminary University of Michigan consumer density. So quite light in terms of the data front this week. Last week was very heavy in terms of data. Lots of stuff out last week. So yeah, this week nice and quiet, but it doesn't mean that there won't be any interesting moves. I think the chart, especially I think last week with Thursday and Friday, definitely shook up the markets a bit. A lot of volatility, and there's now a lot of interesting setups in play. So yeah, let's have a look at the charts. I've just got clean charts on most of these. So this is the euro. So briefly on the weekly, what are we looking at here? In terms of sort of fib setups, this is the one to keep an eye out for. In my opinion, it's one that I spoke about last. You can look at the sort of smaller dips around here. So you've got that one there. That's sort of come off the 61.8. But actually, it's quite an interesting one because we do have a weekly close. But last week was a very bullish candle off the 50 SMA. It came back down. Then we had a big reversal towards the upside. So it's quite a bullish candle, but there's a bit of upper wick on that and a close below the 50%. You can already see this week we've already seen some sort of sell-off in euro, but I would not be surprised to see it come back down, maybe test this 50 SMA again, and then reverse towards the upside, creating another lower wick. But no, it's definitely be interesting this one. If it's going to keep on grinding higher, then it has to post some sort of bullish candle this week, I think. Otherwise, we're going to come down to this sort of fib here, I'd have thought. Yes, if we get any sort of bounce towards the upside, then in terms of sort of smaller fibs, that's one to keep an eye out for. That's the same on the daily as well. But you can see yesterday's daily candle, it is quite heavy, so I'd not be surprised to see it keep on coming down here, but you never know. And that's pretty much it in terms of the outlook on the weekly. So you've seen it on the daily as well. If we do get any pop up, that's the fib to keep an eye out for. In terms of sort of interesting levels, you got 135.50s on euro here. That acted as nice support. And yeah, in terms of other sort of fibs, that one there. You can see that a bit clear on the daily, so I'm just going to draw that from the lows. It's pretty much the low of the daily chart to the high, 50% sort of coincides pretty much bang on that. So 135.50s is definitely a key support on euro for this week, I think, and that's the only sort of major support to keep of note really in terms of this week. Obviously keep an eye out on all the round numbers, the sort of 50 pip increments, but in terms of big support, that's definitely one to keep an eye out for in euro. And that's pretty much it in terms of shorter term stuff. Nothing major of interest. I mean, a lot of people are looking at this sort of low here and that high in terms of fibs, and you can see this 50% is currently holding on Europe. It's not that technical though, so we did get 4 hour sort of close below, but now we're above it. So it could sort of get a brief bounce, but it's not my personal favourite type of fib, that one. Would prefer to see a nice reaction off the 50% sort of to the pip and a bounce up, but that hasn't really happened. So I think it's just going to sort of chop around on euro, and if it's going to bounce back up, I think it has to come down towards this sort of 35.50s first, and then get a reversal, and then see it get another stab towards the upside. Cable's getting very interesting, I think. I mean, in terms of this, just briefly on this weekly, what we're looking at here in terms of fibs, we had this sort of small fib here, bow off the 61.8. Then if you extend that high and then extend the low to the recent dip, you've then got another bounce off the 50%. Last week, fairly bullish candle, but it is making lower highs here, so you do have to keep that in mind. And if I'll put it out to the shorter time frame charts, you can see it's making very nice sort of fib bounces off the sort of 4 hour, and you can see on the daily as well. Remember, we were speaking about in the last sort of couple of weeks those daily fibs. But in terms of weekly, that's pretty much it in terms of the focus for this week. I mean, of course, yeah, it's definitely still keep an eye. If we do get any quick sell-off, this is the fib to keep an eye for. But of course, we're still a long way away from that. So in terms of shorter term stuff, that's the one to keep a focus on. You can see on the daily as well, we've been speaking about this fib for a while. I remember we had this one here which played out very nicely. That sort of move there came off of the 61.8, so it's just all it is extending the high and extending the low to the dip below there. And you can see that 50% playing out very well. You've got the 100-day moving average as well, acts as nice confluence, but you can see we are getting capped at the 50-day moving average. And what I wanted to talk about with these smaller fibs here. So remember last week I spoke about this move here that played out very well off the 61.8, rotated toward the downside, and I said keep an eye out, take this low and then take this high. If we get any sort of retracement towards the upside, keep an eye on this 61.8 as well, and the sort of 50% and the 50-day moving average. And look at that, it's very, very technical stuff. But it is struggling to come down. I mean, it's 4 days now where we've had sort of test the 50%, the 50-day moving average, and it's struggled to come down. So it is trying to hold up, but I'd not be surprised to see it fail at these highs here and come down definitely towards this sort of 100-day moving average. But no, it's very technical stuff. And in terms of the shorter term time frames of 4 hours, it's the exact same thing to keep an eye out for. I think you can see it even clearer there on the 50%. Also, you had that 200 SMA as well there on cable. I'm looking at a dolly in here. I think it's quite an interesting chart. I think I may have tweeted this chart as well. I mean, in terms of, so I'm just going to clean this up actually, and then explain the sort of the moves and the levels, etc. So on this daily, we haven't looked at dolly in for a while, but this was one fib move that's been playing out for a while. Initial uptrend came down 50%, got a brief bounce up, and then it sold off, and then you can see we've come back down to this 50% again at the sort of, well, pretty much off the 101 marker. You can see there, but it is making sort of lower highs here. There's that trend line resistance there. But what is interesting, I think, is if you go to the shorter term, so I've just flipped it to the 4 hour, the lovely fib. I think I may have tweeted this chart. So that was one 4 hour fib move there. So if you're quite bullish on dolly yen, which I think is a big double bottom off that 101, so it is quite a hard play, I think, to play these sort of dips towards the upside, towards this trendline resistance. That was one move right there off the 50%, pretty much just a brief spike and then rotated high. And then if you extended your high and then extended your low, you can see it again, it played the 50%. I think this was after NFP on Friday. You can see lovely uptrend, retrace down. I mean, that's a pretty much textbook fib move there. Pure uptrend, pure retracement. Nice bit of confluence there as well off the 50 SMA, and we've rotated towards the upside, but it has sort of failed. I think what the levels, I think it's 102.50s there. We've failed and we are come back down, but you can see the 50 SMA is trying to hold as well. But I'd definitely keep this fib up on your chart, because if it does come down towards this 50%, we could get a nice double bottom here as well, and it could rotate towards the upside. But I think that's quite a technical chart, some interesting things going on there. I think you got fibs towards the other side as well, so instead of looking at bullish ones, you can see what's sort of been capping. What am I taking that high for? This one here, yeah, that was why we got sort of capped there. You can see it, the sort of 61.8 is trying to hold previous spike around there as well. But no, quite a technical chart, Darling. I think we'll keep on looking at it in the future. Dollar Swiss, what's going on in terms of this weekly? What we've been saying for the last sort of few weeks, keeping out. Looks like it's after this sort of bounce off of the 0 spot 87, not 87, 80, yeah, 87 handle. That big reversal candle there, so keeping out. It looks like it just wants to keep on grinding higher towards the 50 SMA, and that's pretty much what's happened. A few pips shy of that, but you can see last week's candle is quite a reversal candle, but you can see we already start off that lower wick on that reversal candle. Does indicate that the buyers are still out there, I think, and are going to want to keep on grinding it high, and you can see it's already started to happen this week. But similar to you, there's nothing major really interesting on the short-term time frame. Where I've just flipped it to the daily here. I'm just checking to the 4 hour as well. I should neaten that up a bit. So on euro, what are we looking at on the 4 hours? The fib, small fib on the 4 hour from that low towards the high, and you can see we are sort of getting some support at the 50 SMA. And surprise, surprise, the opposite thing on dollar Swiss, we're getting capped at the 50%, sorry, not 50 SMA. So keep an eye on that, and that's pretty much it really in terms of dollar Swiss. The only other thing I'd look at in terms of the shorter term stuff is the opposite move. So you can see that clear on the sort of 1 hour as well. It does have previous resistance at the 50% as well, so it could act as nice support if we do come down there. But I'd not be surprised to see it sort of being supported, and I think it's getting supported off of, what was it at? Trying to think what level it is. Well, yeah, it's pretty much getting supported at. It's a tricky level, this 50% level, because you did get some sort of brief support there, but it's just the key line in the sand, this 50%. If you flip it to the daily, you can see it close below this 50%, so it is going to keep on grinding high. We do need a daily close above that, but to be honest, it's just chopping around. There's nothing major of interest, I don't think, on this dollar Swiss apart from that sort of flip move, but it's not that technical. Aussie on the weekly, still chopping in between the sort of 200 pip range here. When we were speaking about the last sort of few weeks now, you can see 0.92, 0.94. It's still getting supported. It's 50-week moving average here. But you can see last week's weekly, well, the last couple of weeks' weekly candles have been quite bullish. Last week's definitely nice lower wick there, nice sort of hanging man candle. I'd be not to be surprised to see it come up and test this 94 this week. But it's all about the weekly closes. If we're going to get any momentum either side, then we definitely need a weekly close either side. I personally think we are going to get a weekly close above this 94 and continue to grind up towards this 100-week moving average. In terms of the daily chart, nothing major of interest on the 4 hour either. I mean, if we do get any sort of retracement, I'd keep an eye on this sort of fib move there, so taking that low. But personally, I'd prefer just to play the range. I think it's much easier. You can see, especially on this daily chart, some lovely reversals, nice sort of 200 pip moves there. So that's the way I personally play it. Gold, you can see we're getting support. I've left this chart up from last week. You can see we're still getting support at that 1240s, and it's trying to sort of retrace towards the upside. It is quite a slow retracement though, and I've left this fib here so you can see that sort of recent swing high. Keep an eye on that. If it does sort of rotate towards the upside, see how it reacts towards that sort of trend line resistance. We could get a nice sort of confluence reversal at a fib level and the trend line. And that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. It's chopping around on the 4 hour. I'd say the bias is definitely towards the upside for this week in terms of retracement. So if you're looking at the shorter term time frames, and keep an eye if we do get any sort of interesting fibs, or just play the levels really. I think you've got 1250s here. acting as nice support. So nice sort of reversal candle there you can see on this 1 hour chart. So I zoomed in there. Nice 1 hour reversal off of 1250s and sort of 200 SMA, and it's rotated towards the upside there about $4. So that's definitely the way to play it. That's personally I'll be looking at it. See if we get any. So if we do get any sort of retracement, keep an eye on 1250s. I think it's definitely a key line in the sand. And then you got this sort of resistance here at 1256s. So it's just chopping in between that at the minute. But I definitely think the bias is towards the upside this week in terms of retracement towards the upside. Okay, then that's all for today. Hope you found that video useful. If there's any other pairs that you want me to take a look at next week, then feel free to comment under the YouTube channel or send us a tweet to our Twitter feed, which is at MRC_markets. Hope you have a great rest of the week trading, and I'll catch you next week. Thanks for watching.